Welcome back, everyone. Scurv here, your host on the Scurv podcast. As you will know, I get a chance, like many content creators, to speak to different people privately. Some content creators do this, some don't. I guess I fall somewhere in the middle. And again, I have yet to do the show that will celebrate my 25 years on social media, before YouTube, before Facebook, before Instagram, and I had a lot of interesting stories to tell on that particular show, which will be live within the week. But getting back to the topic, which this particular offering is titled, Why Does Existing Feel Harder Than It Should? Why existential fatigue may be the real reason you feel so tired inside. The way the world is, we're not made for the world the way it is in the man-made engineered system. Meaning that the demands of a work schedule, technology, electricity has made it where we can stay up all night. We can work a job all night. We don't need the sun anymore, which we do need the sun, but we live as though we don't because we have light at night and there are higher demands in society to produce around the clock. That's number one. We're not made for that. We're not made to process the amount of information that's bombarding our brains every single day. Maybe you don't do this, but I think the vast majority of people, the first thing they do when they wake up is grab for their phone. Their brains are not even awake yet. And they're scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through Instagram. Your brain is not made for that. We're on overload. We're walking around in a state of shock. And we can't really rest. When you rest, you're supposed to let go of everything. You know how many people tell me that they fall asleep holding the phone up while they're in the bed looking at something and the phone falls out of their hand and hits them in the face or falls on the floor, or they wake up with the phone on the floor. We wake up to alarm clocks. We don't wake up naturally. We don't go to bed naturally. When it gets dark, we're supposed to go to sleep. But this is not just about the physical rest, okay? Because there's a kind of tiredness that sleep does not fix. It's not physical exhaustion, and it's not just burnout from work. It feels deeper than that. Yes, it can still be the physical also in different proportions. But this thing, it feels like being worn down by the simple act of being alive. Waking up, doing it all again, repeating the same motions, carrying the same weight. It's not always sadness. And it's not always depression, but it feels just as heavy. This kind of tiredness confuses people because life may look fine on the outside. There may be stability, routine, work, family, and structure. On paper, everything seems normal. But inside, there's a quiet exhaustion that never fully leaves. It's the feeling that existing itself takes too much effort, even when nothing is technically wrong. Again, I've spoken to many people over the years, and this is what they seem to explain, but they don't know exactly what it is. This fatigue is hard to explain because it does not always come with despair or anger. It often comes with numbness, disconnection, and emotional heaviness. It feels like carrying a load that no one else can see. It's not about hating life. It's about being tired of maintaining it. Many people feel this and never talk about it. There is no easy language for it. Saying I'm tired of existing sounds alarming, even when what is really being felt is exhaustion, not a desire to disappear. So the feeling gets hidden, buried under routines, responsibilities, and polite smiles. This is the tiredness of consciousness itself, the tiredness of repetition, the tiredness of always having to show up, perform, respond, function, and hold yourself together. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's steady. And it slowly drains the desire to engage with life. But what is this feeling? What is it really? Psychologists call it existential exhaustion or existential fatigue. It's not the tiredness of doing too much. It's the tiredness of being. Every day requires maintenance. You wake up, take care of your body, make decisions, manage emotions, interact with people, handle problems, and repeat the cycle again and again. For many people, this becomes background noise. It fades into routine. But for some, the awareness of it becomes overwhelming. Once the repetition becomes visible, it's hard to ignore. Life starts to feel mechanical, predictable, heavy, and suffocating. At some point, the mind stops seeing life as natural flow and starts seeing it as constant effort. Existence begins to feel like a role that must be played rather than a life that is lived. Even smiling becomes work. Talking becomes work. Caring becomes work. Even resting feels like work because rest still requires participation in the world. This creates a quiet internal fatigue that never fully shuts off. This exhaustion often comes with emotional numbness. Things that once brought comfort or joy start to feel neutral. Not bad, just empty. Not painful, just flat. Pleasure does not disappear completely, but it stops feeling worth the effort. Everything feels like maintenance inside of meaning. Life becomes a list of tasks instead of experiences. There can also be a sense of watching life instead of living it, moving through days on autopilot, doing what needs to be done while feeling disconnected from it all. The world feels distant, like there is glass between the self and reality. Presence exists, but connection does not. The body moves, but the spirit feels tired. Where does this come from? This state rarely comes from one single cause. It usually builds slowly. Years of pressure, years of disappointment, years of effort without reward, years of hoping for change that never fully arrives. Sometimes it grows from trauma, Not always one major event, but many small wounds that teach the nervous system that the world is unsafe, unpredictable, and demanding. Sometimes it comes from awareness, seeing how unfair, chaotic, and indifferent life can be. When the mind sees too early, it becomes harder to stay emotionally invested. Sometimes it comes from biology. Brain chemistry shifts, emotional balance changes, energy drops, motivation fades, and suddenly existence feels heavy without a clear reason. The mind looks for meaning, but the body just feels tired. Daily life becomes a negotiation. Getting up feels like effort. Starting the day feels like work. Every task feels heavier than it should. Small talk feels draining. Basic responsibilities feel overwhelming. The simple act of responding to people, messages, and expectations feels like lifting weight that the body no longer has strength for. Functioning continues, but it costs more. Smiling costs energy. Pretending costs energy. Being fine costs energy. And no one sees the internal effort it takes just to appear normal. From the outside, it looks like laziness or lack of motivation. From the inside, it feels like survival. This is not weakness. This is not failure. This is what happens when the nervous system has been carrying too much for too long. When a person has learned to survive instead of rest. When life becomes constant performance instead of presence. The mind and body were never designed for endless pressure without recovery. This exhaustion is not about giving up. It's about being overloaded. It's about being tired of trying to carry life alone. It's about being worn down by constant effort with little emotional return. Healing does not start with pressure. It starts with permission. Permission to be tired. Permission to rest. Permission to exist without performance. Real rest is not just sleep. Real rest is the absence of pressure to pretend, perform, or prove anything. Support matters. Therapy helps. Safe spaces help. Medication can help when biology is involved. But more than anything, what helps is compassion. Being seen without being judged. Being understood without being rushed. Being allowed to exist at a lower capacity without being labeled broken. Small moments matter. Quiet moments. Gentle moments. Not goals. Not pressure. Not big plans. Just moments that make being alive feel slightly lighter, slightly softer, slightly easier to carry. This state does not always last forever. It can lift, it can change, it can soften, not through force, not through pressure, not through pretending everything is fine, but through time, safety, support, and rest. This exhaustion does not mean life is over. Remember that. It means the system is overwhelmed. It means the soul is tired. It means the weight has been too heavy for too long. If I'm tired of existing, it does not mean I'm broken. It means I have been carrying more than I was meant to carry alone. It means the load has been too heavy, the pressure too constant, the rest too rare. Life requires effort, but it should not feel like constant survival. It should not feel like endless endurance. It should not feel like a burden every single day. Rest is not weakness. Slowness is not failure. Low energy is not laziness. Exhaustion is not a character flaw. It's a signal. This is how you must think. I deserve rest without guilt. I deserve to exist without performance. I deserve to breathe without pressure. I deserve to be tired without being told to push harder. Sometimes survival is enough. Sometimes existing is enough. Sometimes just making it through the day is enough. And that's not failure. That's endurance. That's strength. That's resilience in its quietest form. So I wanted to channel the collective thoughts that were shared with me from various individuals, not just men, not just women, not just older men or women, or not just younger men, just a cross section of people who knew that they weren't actually depressed, but the way they felt, it was a mid-ground. And while they were functional, the enthusiasm for real living had dissipated, and it didn't mean they wanted to end their life. But it was an empty feeling they carried for a very long time. And they would ask me, Lance, have you ever felt this way? Sure. But I was taught many ways of getting out of that place. And as I got older, I learned to back off, rest a little bit more, because I'll never forget one of my fellow bus drivers that when he saw how much I was doing on social media, he grabbed me and he said, man, I don't know how you do it. I don't know your formula, but I know you're human. And even though I'm not in your world that way, and I see what you have to go through, like what I have to go through driving this bus, I do know I have to tell you this. And I said, what? He said, man, you got to know when to back off. And I accepted that because I wasn't standing where he was standing to view my life from the outside like he was. I was like, wow. And although immediately I didn't heed the advice, I did eventually. I mean, if you tell someone who is driving an 18-wheeler down the highway and he's going at 90 miles an hour and you say, you better stop now, do you think that 18-wheeler is going to stop on a dime once you told the driver to stop? As big and as heavy as it is with the momentum going at 90 miles an hour? But when the message is registered, then you know to execute the right thing to do. So for me personally, there were so many people egging me on to do more and to do more, and I wanted to, and I did. But a lot of what I did benefited others. And I found myself drained without the reward of what I deserve to get for myself. And that goes on to other topics that we spoke about this week. who is benefiting from your kindness. So it's not selfishness. When you learn to back off, when you learn and understand that it's not just physical rest, it's your soul, it's your mind. It's taking the joy out of life, a life that has become routine. And we weren't made to be boxed in that way in our perception. Now, there are some people who can deal with this better than others. It doesn't mean they're stronger than you. It just means that they can handle an equivalent of that type of regimen. And remember, we all have different abilities, perceptions, personalities. We are all different. So when it comes to a job that expects us to perform like the next coworker in a cookie cutter fashion, to produce every single day, and then you go home, you may have a spouse, you may have children, you have to perform for them. You lose yourself because of the routine of life, a routine that doesn't allow you to have time to yourself. I mean, when was the last time, and I'm not accusing anybody who's listening now that this is what you're going through, but there's going to be somebody who listens and says, man, that was on point. That's the way I've been feeling. That explains it. When was the last time you had a real gut-busting laugh in the company of your inner circle or loved ones or a close friend, someone you can trust, someone you can just let your hair down with, and you're laughing so hard? Even if it's through a voicemail with a friend that you've known for decades, when was the last time? It might be laughing at a memory or a former laugh. Listen, let me tell you something. I got friends that we talk about gut-busting laughs that we had 30, 40 years ago. And we tell the same story, and it's just as funny because of the situation. Now, I'm not saying just to live in the past, but it's like the computer when it shuts down on you and gives you that screen of death, and it says, hit F, I forgot which F it is, F12 or F2 or F6 or F5, to go back to the screen or to go back to when it was functioning properly. So in my music therapy, this is what I do. If I feel a little pressure, if I feel a little drained, I make sure to check my perimeter and make sure there are no draining entities around me. And draining entities don't have to be physically around you. It could be somebody dropping a seed of doubt in your mind that's growing after they're long gone. So you have to go down the checklist. So you have to be aware of the things that are coming at you in your mind. Of course, we have to watch out for our bodies. I mean, you're not going to go to a bank's ATM in a known drug-infested, crime-ridden neighborhood to go pull out a couple of $100 or a couple of $1,000. No, that would be foolish. We don't do those things. But we forget how things can get to our mind, but are things that pop into our head. So when I get into my music therapy, there's certain songs I play that take me back to that place, and I'm back in tune again. It pulls me out of the present that may not be something where I'm revitalized. I'll pull away from a video. I'll pull away from the computer. I'll pull away from writing something if I need to. But this is why I built my own studio, my own creative space. So when I come into it, there are no distractions. It's soundproofed. You know, there's no noise and foolish noise that can go on at certain times that it's ever going to bother me. This is like my creative, it's like a womb. I'm being fed. I control the atmosphere, I control the sound, and I can be myself. And that brings me great joy to share things, to share stories. See, even if you don't do this, you have to have something that you do for yourself and make time for it, because you know what? The demands of life in this man-made engineered system will keep on bringing you to a place where you have to do more and do more and do more. And it's no surprise why many who worked years on a job finally get a chance to retire, and within months, maybe a short handful of years with no health problems, they die. No, I don't want that. My enthusiasm for life is just as high as it has ever been. Listen, even when I drove the bus 11 hours a day, and those who know me from the old channel that was taken down, I drove 11 hours a day on the bus, dealing with the public, dealing with being cussed out, dealing with difficult personalities, dealing with bitter men and bitter women who didn't want to go on their job. I made my job look easy, so they thought I had it easy. And don't let them find out that I was on social media. And then I had a gig after work that Mrs. Scurv and I did for a couple of hours. Lots of times I didn't get in till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But I would do a show for a couple of hours, go to sleep, get up again, and do another one before I leave to go to work to drive the bus again. But I had slick ways of doing it because I kept my passion, my core passion, of which I have many passions, creative passions. But I never let the world take that away from me, because I would be a shell of myself, a shell of my former self, gutted. No enthusiasm, because I don't have mine. See, when I can create and express myself every single day, that's for me. That's for you too. I like to share. But I've had so many experiences, I've got to get these things off my chest. So it's my own form of therapy. It's not a matter of, oh, you're trying to be popular. Oh, you're trying to get hits. Oh, you're trying to get followers. No, this is what I do. The comedian who stands outside by the park or an area where there are a lot of office buildings, and he tells his jokes, he's enjoying himself while honing his craft. So he has a little cup out in front of him. If you want to throw him a few pennies, a few bucks, a few dollars, some money, fine. But this is something he has to do. Whether it's 2 people there or 100 people there on their lunch break, he's going to tell the joke as funny as he can. So when he finally gets to the big stage, he's honed his craft so well, he can read the audience and alter the joke according to the audience. So everybody's laughing, whether he's in New York, whether he's in Tennessee, whether he's in the back roads of Mississippi. You know what it is that you have to do when you're in connection with yourself. That's why hobbies are very important, that you love to do. That's the main thing. So when that's taken away by this modern day man-made society, you lose something. You should be able to do something and give it time every day. I don't care if you had 2 hours or 3 hours on the weekend. On one particular day, you had to wash clothes, clean the house, take the kids out, do whatever you have to do. And then maybe on Sunday, you had 8 hours to do it. But Monday comes, you only have 30 minutes. Well, you know what? Do that 30 minutes and stay connected to what it is that you do and love to do. Have something of your own that keeps you in connection to yourself. I've never lost a connection to myself. I made sure to be present every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, and every decade of my life. I have jokes that are mine that I laugh at to myself, but I'm not crazy. I have experiences that I can extract from and share with you because it's funny to me or something I learned. So when they took my former channel down, there were so many people laughing. Oh, what's he gonna do now? I'm gonna do the same thing that I love every single day and didn't miss a beat. And actually, I think it's a lot better now than ever before. And now at this junction point in my life, I have all the time in the world until my creator calls me home to do what I do. If I want to sit in the house tomorrow for 12 hours and create, I can do that without interruption. As a matter of fact, I have one thing to do. I'm going to put 12 hours in. And it's not just shows. It may be graphics. It may be sketching. It may be writing something. I'll deal with that crossroads when it comes, because it's coming tomorrow if I'm blessed with another day. So whatever it may be for you, it could be gardening. It could be cooking. It could be reading history, a certain period in history that you're interested in. Stay connected to yourself and don't let this world drain you to the point where you feel that your soul is tired. Thank you all so much for coming through. I hope these words inspired you and gave you a little clarity. I'm going to start doing more video responses to certain comments or questions that are put in the comment section. So please leave something of a question that I can respond to. I may respond to several questions in one video or one in a full video, which may not last longer than 10 minutes or so. That's the way I'm going to do it. But I want to be more interactive and have more of a connection. I don't have to be connected to 5 million people. Even if it's just 1,000 or 100 that we vibe here and we relate to each other, share with each other, and grow. That's what it's all about. What's the use of having 1 million followers and you're not connected to anybody? Like I said, social media these days is not too social at all, but we can make it that way. Much love to you all. I truly appreciate all the time you spend with me. And again, for those who don't know, make sure to go to lancescurvx.com and enter your email address, and you'll get all of the material that we make here and everywhere else, and other material that you will not see on any other social media platform. That's my promise. And I'm open to suggestions, topics to speak about. So let me know. Let's learn and let's have some fun. Much love to you all. Lance Scurv out. Peace.